This is Irish Folklore Heritage. You are listening to Stan J. O'Reilly, the Piers of Wicklow and the Supernatural, the Phantom of the Old Pier. The building of a harbour in Wicklow, which would be a huge benefit for the port trade and the small local fishing industry, began with an £8,000 allowance from the government in 1761. It failed in its purpose. There was later, following a mortgage loan of £12,000 to the corporation, a second attempt. That too failed, and this led to the scheme being christened the Bush Harbour. The East Breakwater, or the Old Pier, was built after the plans were laid down in 1880. Great Wicklow orator and politician Charles Stewart Parnell had declared that it would stand for 1,000 years. Within 20 years of its completion, it was badly in need of repair. The pier had both a bell and a foghorn attached, as well as a light. Only the working light remains to this day. A beautiful copper dome was attached to the top of that lighthouse until a fierce storm in the 1970s carried it into the sea. I spoke to an older woman from Castle Street, and she told me a story. And that story concerns the Phantom of the Old Pier. It's an old story in our family, and it concerns the Vanishing Man. Years ago, the fishermen would rise early and take a walk out the Old Pier. They wanted to have a look at the weather and the conditions of the tide and the swell of the water. If it looked safe enough, they would go out in boats to fish. On the way out the pier, sometimes they would see the figure of a man. He would be walking in the distance and would turn the corner at the lighthouse to the back of the pier. There is no way back from here unless you could swim well. When they got to the end of the pier and looked around the back, there would be no one there. The man would be gone. He has been seen many times by the fishermen, and each time he has disappeared. I was told this story back in the 1980s by a resident of Castle Street who belongs to one of the families who earn their living by fishing. And I've done so for generations. 20 years later, carrying out local research in the county library, I was looking through old copies of the local papers for 1901. I found a report on the Vanishing Man of the Old Pier in one of the weekly editions. The watchman on the pier at Wicklow has lately had his attention drawn during his nocturnal watch by a very strange apparition. The old watchman states that he has frequently seen a man on the pier, and on one occasion actually met him, but owing to some incident on the other platform, disappeared within a few yards of the watchman. This was not the only instance of the watchman meeting the Sprite. The next time he proceeded towards the Black Castle, followed by the watchman. He was again given the slip. He searched up and down and in every nook and corner, but failed to find anything in the shape of a man. It was only after publication of this item that others came forward with their own tales of an encounter with the dark side on the pier. During the past week, numerous stories have been circulated as regards this strange apparition. The tales grew in number with the passing of the years, and the Vanishing Man on the Old Pier is one spectre who was not going to go quietly into the night.